Meet Sepiso. He is a budding entrepreneur who started and operates a coffee machine repair business. He is a one-man show, but manages to earn a decent living and keeps himself employed, and occasionally hires temporary help. Sepiso works from an office where he receives service requests from restaurant owners in desperate need to get their coffee machines repaired. In a typical day in Sepiso's work life, he will receive a call from an anxious customer who is losing patrons because of the broken coffee machines. He records the details of the problem and prepares for a service call by printing his invoice for the customer. This is a manual process that he can only do while in the office. Sepiso arrives at the restaurant to be received by a distressed owner. He then gets to work and manages to fix the problem on her machine. He produces his pre-printed invoice and accepts cash for services rendered. Sepiso will then go back to his office to file this documentation and will prepare to bank monies received for the day. So where would an iPad fit in? Let's look at that scenario again. Whilst he isn't bound by an office, Sepiso can receive service calls through an automated electronic interface via his IVR, website, mobile or social media channels that he monitors using his iPad. He doesn't really need to prepare any documentation since his iPad gives him access to his customer relationship management system, and he can access customer history, transactions, address details, and various other customer data on the go. He arrives and on inspecting the machine, he is able to access online manuals and collaborate with support services offered by the manufacturer whilst servicing the coffee machine. He then proceeds to fix the problem, and when he's done, his customer is able to sign warranties and invoices on the work done on his iPad. He can then also accept card payments through his iPad, which is always safer and avoids having him go to the bank or ATM for deposits. This also allows Sepiso to offer his customers multiple payment methods.
Ring up sales wherever you are. With the Square app from the App Store, you can process cash and credit card transactions directly on iPad via Wi-Fi or 3G. In Square, it's easy to enter a new transaction amount. You can also swipe to select from a list of items you've previously created, such as this list of labor charges, or this list of parts and materials. Once you've entered the appropriate items, tap Charge to continue the transaction using cash or a credit card. Tap Card and enter the credit card information manually or plug in the free Square card reader. Square instantly recognizes the reader and allows you to use a card for payment. Swipe the credit card, and Square authorizes the transaction. And using the multi-touch display on iPad, your customer can sign off on the sale right on the spot.
The iPad is an entirely new class of computing that has become a buzzword that will long change the way we communicate and function. The launch of the iPad has probably been one of the most anticipated events of the century. There are a multitude of functions for an iPad for almost every industry in the world, and it's a growing list of apps every day. They're sleek and very cool and appear to add value to small businesses. But do they really add value in a large company? So let's look at large enterprises. iPads in this environment can be an enabler or an innovative tool to enhance business efficiencies or differentiate companies amongst their competitors. So how does the iPad become an enabler? Well, we know that email, calendars, internet, documents, presentations can all be managed on the very mobile iPad. Even attending meetings is virtually a breeze. And what about the iPad to differentiate your company? Well, one interesting example of this is when Burberry, a premium retail brand in the US, used iPads at their fashion shows to have customers place their orders for clothing as it comes down the runway. Or even when restaurants allow their customers to take food orders on an iPad at the table and allow clients to see rich interactive wine list to accompany their food. Talk about customer centricity. The iPad is a critical tool to allow business users to share, learn, and collaborate through its multitude of applications that bring users closer and more informed. The iPad will allow enterprises to align its people and processes in reaching its business objectives. Let's look at companies that are using the iPad to achieve this. Old Mutual had an objective of security, efficiency, and green initiatives. By rolling out iPads to senior executives, they were able to stop the printing of documentation when their board reviews financial statements. People were also able to have mobile meetings and collaborate, and iPad apps such as iAnnotate were used to securely review documents and keep track of changes made to the documents. GIBS, on the other hand, rolled out iPads to all of their 3,800 staff members. Their aims were to phase out laptops and allow staff to only book laptops as they needed them. This would also serve as a means of internal communication to their staff. Their long-term objective is that of positioning the company as a developer of iPad applications and enterprise solutions, which they would offer as a service both locally and internationally. PruProtect, as part of Discovery Holdings, is in the process of rolling out iPads to their financial advisors. Let's hear what they have to say.
So tell us, how does PruProtect use the iPad as a business tool?
I guess there's two main applications. The one would be in terms of normal office productivity, so access to email, being able to work out of the office as a normal. The other context would be around how we would support the use of iPad or pad technology in our core business, which is obviously the UK protection market. So in that case, we already have some mobile applications which are designed to be able to work off any smartphone. That could be an iPad, but it could be a Galaxy device or a Windows-based phone or anything like that. So we've developed these tools which allow for financial advisors to be able to work independent of a PC. So it allows them the ability to be able to quote on insurance, to be able to review their pipeline of what's going on in the business with PruProtect, and also be able to initiate service requests. So if you're an account manager working for PruProtect and you're having an interview with a broker and the broker raises something like what's happened with that particular case, or are the medicals done on this thing, the account manager then can initiate a service request using the device back to the back office service in terms of what's going on with a particular case. I don't really see any consumer application that's beneficial to PruProtect. We see it more as a business enabling tool in a business-to-business sense as opposed to a consumer.
Do you plan to use that or sell that to any other companies who might be in the similar industry? Okay,
so the context of this thing is that if you review the research, there's evidence that iPad, or let's call it pad devices, are becoming a lot more pervasive in terms of being able to generate content as opposed to just present content. So the examples being companies like Mercedes, who will now take will take orders at point of sale on an iPad device instead of having to walk the potential car buyer back to the office to complete the financing application. Stockbrokers using assisted advice tools on pad devices when dealing with clients and doing needs analysis and so forth.
In terms of the iPad, do you foresee any challenges with it? The use
Security
of
is a problem.
And cost-wise, is it a worthwhile going with the iPad, or are there cheaper consoles that are just as efficient for your requirements?
Right now, iPad seems to be the best price.
Just generally, do you foresee the iPad ever replacing the PC or laptop?
I think they've all got their place, but replacing it, no, not for a while.
We also asked Henry Slubbert, the CIO of IKM, what his take on the iPad is in the work environment. And Henry, would you consider giving iPads to your department? And if so, why? And what benefits do you think can be achieved? And I mean, do you think iPads would assist in knowledge management?
Well, I think so. I love the devices. I bought one myself. Without thinking I'm going to buy one, but I went to the Apple Store and just thought it looks like a great device, and I use it myself. It's a device that I get a lot of joy from a personal level, and from personal stuff, photos and birds and stars and whatever, and then it gives opportunity on the corporate side as well. If I travel, it's the most convenient way to get into the internet and stay in touch. And we do have a lot of people that do travel all over the world. So it could be a convenient device to have a look at in future.
And do you think the iPad would replace the PC?
I think it could. I think PCs will change. I think PCs will change. I think if the format is so convenient. I think people that do sell PCs, as the PCs change to desktop, I think PCs will have to change as well. So I can't say they'll be dead, but I think there's a challenge for PCs to relook their format, and I think something between the two will come.
Okay. And Henry, do you use the iPad in any way to directly service your customers?
No, not yet. We use handheld devices, and we try to use handheld devices a lot more, so not particularly the iPad. I have a request from external companies that sell third-party products in our stores to use iPads. We still have to work out how to handle all the security around wireless in stores, and how do we keep customer data secure in that environment. And the iPad is a bit foreign to us, so it'll take a bit more time for us to accommodate the iPad, but I think it's a brilliant device for people to use in stores to serve customers.
Okay. And do you have services that customers with iPads can take advantage of in future?
Yeah, we are building quite a number of them. I don't think we've done anything particular for our iPad today. There's stuff that we do on the internet, and for that reason, iPad can exploit that, but you'll see us doing some stuff in the next 18 months.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time, Henry.
Pleasure.
Thank you. In the small business, we see people like Sipiso use iPads to be more productive, safer and mobile. It can also become a portfolio, a presentation device, and even a point of sale tool. Sipiso can work anywhere, anytime, and he has a convenient way of managing his business. He doesn't have to go to the bank, no need to spend capital on machinery such as printers, and he can save thousands of trees by becoming paperless, but still storing digital copies of his files. We've seen evidence of the use of an iPad in larger enterprises, such as PruProtect at Discovery Health and Edcon. We also see a consultancy using the iPad deployment to their staff as a message to the market that they are pioneers and embrace cutting-edge technology and can provide such services. As an enabler, the iPad allows faster access to emails, calendars, documents, presentations, and so much more. We see that there are functional, customer-centric, and innovative uses of the iPad, and believe there is definitely a place for iPads in the business environment. Thank you.